Gwynn and Don Prudhomme survived first round of eliminations held earlier today. Now it is time for round 2 of Top Fuel. This man in the famous yellow car, Eddie Hill, versus Gordie Bonin. Again, Eddie Hill carrying our Diamond P Sports camera.
Of course, you realize, Steve, this is last year's car, maybe even a couple of years ago. This is the old car that Eddie Hill has got. He has gone away from the 300-inch modern fueler.
But he's up against a car that is as modern as any of them. In fact, it was completed mid-season and is driven by transplanted Canadian Gordie Bonin. That's the machine in the far lane, owned by Ron Hodgson. Now, Bonin was a very famous funny car driver, went as far as a runner-up spot here at the U.S. National some years ago, and he brought out of retirement his crew chief in that period, Gordon Jenner, and what a big, pleasant surprise he has been. This car just flying, qualified at 5:10. Eddie Hill, unofficially the quickest Top Fuel driver of them all at 4.93 seconds from Wichita Falls, Texas. Fuzzy Carter, you've met him before. One of the very best, and look at that qualifying elapsed time, a 5:04.
Of course, that's Eddie's wife, Ursi Hill, that helps place the car in line. She said she and Eddie talked about going back to the old car. It was something that they really felt would be successful. Gordie Bonin, who has been working as an NHRA official the past several years, in fact, at this race 1 year ago, worked with us down on the starting line. We do wish him well.
Eddie Hill's right hand holding onto that brake, trying to restrain 4,000 horsepower until the flash of the yellow light. They're away. Bonin got the better start, but smokes the tires. Eddie Hill, 5.06, and we all just traveled 275 miles per hour. Paul Page is at the starting line with Fuzzy Carter.
Fuzzy Carter, good little run with a 5.06, but it looks like it's going to take more to win this event.
Yeah, it still looks a little soft on bottom. We've got the clutch kind of straightened back out. We've been having trouble with it. Eddie's hitting a second stage himself, and we brought our old car back, and it's working real good, and we're pretty tickled.
All right, Fuzzy Carter on his way now to join Eddie Hill. In the meantime, behind us on the starting line, Frank Bradley rolls up in his matchup with Joe Amato. Now, let's go to the far end and Steve Evans.
Since the first round this morning, the heat is up a bit. The humidity is definitely up quite a bit, which makes Eddie Hill's 5.06 even more impressive.
Oh, boy, it feels good. It sure feels good to have this thing repeat and not break. Boy, I love this little car.
Well, you brought it out of the barn.
Yeah, there's some use still for antiques, maybe even including me, huh?
You think it's on the edge?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell driving the car. It felt pretty good in the car. The computer should tell us, you know, whether it's trying to turn a tire or not. We'll find out.
Sure you will.
Well, consistency has been the problem for Eddie Hill, but now back with the old car, maybe he can get some of it back as Joe Amato moves back in the lanes, ready for his confrontation with Frank Bradley.
Well, Joe Amato has been on a tear recently, trying to catch the Winston points leader, Gary Ormsby, and he's been doing a good job of it. In fact, he won the last race in Brainerd, Minnesota, and the one before that in Seattle, Washington. This car has been undefeated. Crew chief Tim Richards, who experimented with a shorter car like Eddie Hill, has now fallen in love with the latest in dragster engineering. Frank Bradley, well, all season long, he's had one of the modern 300-inch cars and won probably the biggest race of his career with some help from Junior Conity. That was the California Nationals in his own backyard. What a day that was.
But Amato comes into this round with a definite disadvantage. Frank Bradley has lane choice and the quicker car. This may be the end of the line for that new car.
Temperature, humidity coming up, which means lane choice is critical. Amato with a terrific hole shot on Bradley. Now Bradley trying to catch him down to the end, but it's Amato all the way. Tim Richards, the crew, very, very happy with a 5.16, 287 miles an hour.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen a man give up so much distance at the starting line. Frank Bradley must have just figured he had Amato covered completely, because he sat there almost a full tenth of a second and watched Amato drive away from him. Now, Amato didn't have a real good run. He smoked his tires just a little bit, but look at the difference at the end just from that starting line advantage.
Amato had the hole shot, and he definitely needed it to keep ahead of the charging Frank Bradley. Look at the comparisons there. But Amato won the race because he got there first. Now he's at the far end with Steve.
Well, Joe, engine performance is always important, but this time it was driver performance. Your 16 defeated Frank's 5.11.
Well, Steve, I had to pedal a little bit in here because the car started shaking and, you know, was ready to smoke the tires. But, you know, this is a tough race, you know, and it's very critical for the points.
You saw Gordie Bonin smoke the tires right in front of you. You had to be concerned, and you had to be alert.
Yeah, when I did the burnout, I looked because he actually went a little bit to the right, and I wanted to just make sure I was stayed straight, and I went down through the center of the lane and tried to do my job.
Good thinking.
Thank you.
So Joe Amato moves ahead at the U.S. Nationals. Will it be a third straight victory for him? Back in the funny car.